There's been some discussion here in the last few weeks, and I just want to make sure that everybody is on the same page because I have a feeling that we're not on the same page here. So let's. I have a belief that HVAC is different than plumbing, and the reason for my belief in that has been my career in coming into the HVAC. I'm a plumber. I understand the plumbing upside down and sideways. Technically, HVAC I don't understand, and I come to find out I wasn't the only one that really understood it, because even seasoned technicians were struggling with HVAC, and I've seen businesses struggle with HVAC. People that have been in the HVAC business for a long time have struggled with HVAC, and they don't quite understand all the pieces to it. Now, I was fortunate that I was actually, when I got into HVAC, I didn't have any of these bad habits or experiences, and I could see the holes that other people just thought these were holes that couldn't be fixed. And I'm a big proponent of the E-Myth, and business should be made up of processes, and the processes should be broken down to the simplest form. The simpler the process, the more sustainable the process, meaning more people can run the business. More people can perform a process when it's broken down to the simplest form. So, one of my strengths, and I joke about it, but I also believe it, is I believe I'm very simple. And I believe I can see the simpleness in a process and how to make it simple. I've created crazy complicated process. I've performed complicated processes. But at the end of the day, I always continue to look at how can I improve this? How can I dumb this down? And I use the term, how can I dumb this down so that I can understand it? Just add some humility into it. Now, I always say that tongue in cheek, and it's kind of funny when I say it, but I honestly believe that is the way that we should look at our business, is dumb it down so that anybody can do it. Because as leaders of our business, or as managers of our businesses, you're not going to duplicate yourself. So yes, if I could go out and run the process, I could do it differently. But for me to ask everybody in my company to run the process and still match my goal as a company and match my customer's expectation at the same time, that's sustainable, that's scalable. For me to go out and hire nothing but the greatest people, that's not scalable. Because you're constantly looking for the greatest. So we set up our processes to be great, and we have people run our processes. As Michael Gerber says in the book, The E-Myth, Disney is one of the greatest corporations in the world because everything is broken down simplistically. All right, who can't wait to come to work wearing the Goofy suit at Disney? I could probably wear that suit too. But and that's just one of his processes. It's a character, but he carries that process out. If you've ever been to Disney World or Disneyland, you can kind of see how Goofy plays his role there. And it's everything behind what they do is a process. And so I built my business to become that process. And I'm sharing that with people here. And I learned this. I never heard of Michael Gerber before Contractors 2000 ever came around. Never even would have thought about reading the E-Myth if it wasn't for Contractors 2000. So, I blame Contractors 2000 for putting this and creating this monster that I've become to make everything simple and to set up processes. So one of the processes that I created when I got in the HVAC world was a process to get a more measured result. And what I mean by that, here's what was happening to me in the HVAC world. I would send a technician out on a job. A customer had an out, okay? System was out, and I'd send a technician out on a job. And he diagnosed it, and he went to the customer, and, we went through our process at the time. It was a Harry Friedman process back then. And so we, giving the customer options and looking at what was going on. But, every technician did it differently, okay? So I got different results from different technicians, and that was not what a process was. A process was to give you a predictable result. And that's what I want to build our businesses on, is a predictable result. And our businesses should be run on a predictable process. So what happened when I would send technicians out to run service calls is, I would ask every technician in the room when I came up with this process, I would ask them these questions. I'd say, has there ever been a time you went out on a call and the system was out and you diagnosed the problem and you gave your customer the solution to fix it, or the options to fix it, and have them raise their hand? Yeah. Okay, so, and Mrs. Jones usually does what? Well, they want to fix the system. They're tight on money, so they just want to do this. I said, okay. So then, we've all been there, right? Customer picks the low-hanging fruit, okay? Fixes whatever's failed. Or a technician doesn't even offer options, and therefore just offers his opinion of the solution. And then the customer goes ahead and fixes it and pays us, and we're going our way. And then sometime in the future, whether it's an hour, a day, a week, or a month, that customer calls us back, right? Have the technicians raise their hand and everybody in the room, yes, that's happened to us. Okay, so now we go out to Mrs. Jones on a system that we fixed, and we go out and we diagnose what the problem is, and we find out it's something different this time, right? Has that ever happened? And 100% people raise their hand. I said, so now what we do is we say, Mrs. Jones, last time it was your flux capacitor, and now it's your dual flux capacitor. And I only use those words because I want people to understand that I don't know, and I really don't know. And it's kind of a fun word to use. But anyways, well, it was your flux capacitor last time, now it's your dual flux capacitor. What is Mrs. Jones thinking at this time? Okay? Are they thinking, you know what, you fixed it last time, I'm not paying any more. I already paid you to fix it. I'm not paying this too. Or, you just nickel and diming me here? Are you incompetent? Are there good feelings going in our customer's mind about right now? Answer is no. Customers think we're ripping them off. Customers think we're incompetent. Customers think, hey, you fixed it, I'm only paying for it once, okay? So I got sick and tired of having callbacks on my HVAC business. Because on my plumbing business, it was absolutely not that way. The callbacks were just for stupid things. The guy forgot to light the pilot on the water heater, okay? Or he didn't do a sound enough job checking his work to make sure it was dripping or was still draining. Because, it's either leaking or it's not. It's either draining or it's not on the plumbing side. Pretty basic, pretty simple. It's kind of why I'm a plumber, okay? I like simple. So anyways, I needed to put a simple process together for HVAC. So I created this 3-step process for HVAC. And I came up with this process, and just to give you an idea of why I came up with it, I've kind of gone on to a little piece of it, is I wanted the customer liability to be where it needed to be, and that is on the customer, not on me. Because when I go back out, if I fix something, and I go back out and the customer is thinking, well, you fixed it last time, they're thinking the liability is on me. And I'm saying, no, I just showed up. This is your equipment, it's your liability, not mine. Okay? That's how I honestly believe this to be. And it is their equipment, they own it. I don't own it, I don't use it, they use it. I just showed up and repaired something. So I created a 3-step process to roll out with my technicians. And there's magic that actually happened with this 3-step process that I didn't see coming but I want to make sure that I'm clear about what the three-step process is. Three-step process here is, and this can be done in reverse order. This is how I ran it out. Our technician would go out on an out and diagnose the system and figure out what the problem was. And then I had my technicians give these three options. Option number one, replace the system with a high efficiency piece of equipment, saving your money on your monthly utility bills. That would be option number one. Okay? And I had my technicians, I wanted them to say that every time, period. And I'll get into some ramifications of that. Then option two is, I put option two in here to basically put the liability where it belongs, and that's with the customer, not with the company. And option two is replace all the components related to the failure, and I'll give you a 1-year warranty. And then option three is, I'm going to paraphrase here, replace only the failed component. However, due to the age of the related components, the system will not be under warranty. However, there's a 30-day warranty on the part. What would you like to do? So, Ms. Jones wants to know what the price is. Well, there's no price. Get a comfort consultant out here and talk about a new system. Replacing all the components related to failure, that's $3,800. Or I could just replace the failed component. However, due to the age of the related components, there is no warranty on the system. However, there is a 30-day warranty on the part, and that is, $389. Well, let's go ahead and do that, $389. Okay, that's usually what the customer came back at. Because nobody was I never sold an option number two. It's a decoy. It's there, again, to put the liability on the customer's back, not on mine. Okay, because it's not my equipment, it's theirs. They have to make the choice on how well they want to maintain their equipment. So we replace the part, and now sometime in the future, an hour, a day, a week, or a month comes by, and the customer calls up and says, hey, you guys are out here and my system's not working. So now, because it's a process in the business, customer service now knows it's a process. So they get on the phone and they say, not a problem, Mr. Jones. It sounds like we have to do more work on option number two. Do you have your invoice in front of you? Yeah, okay. So now my technician is dispatched out there. And the technician takes a look at the system and says, okay, Mr. Jones, I found out what the problem is. Last time it was your flux capacitor, and this time it's your dual flux capacitor. So here's your options. We can replace your system with a high efficiency piece of equipment, save you money on your monthly utility bills. All the components related to this failure, and there'll be a 1-year warranty. Or we can do what we did last time, and I can replace just the failed component. However, like last time, due to the age of the related components, there is no warranty on the system, but there is a 30-day parts warranty. What would you like to do? At that very instant, we have communicated, not at that instant, we actually did that prior in the first call, but we've communicated the liability here. We communicated on the phone with the CSRs by letting the customer know, it sounds like we have to do more work on option number two, Mrs. Jones. So we've already set the stage for my technician to show up. My technician set the stage initially by offering option number two, replacing all the components related to that failure. It was their choice to not replace all those components. And now I am confronted with flux capacitor, dual flux capacitor. I no longer get, well, you guys fixed it last time, so I'm not paying anymore. Because we've clearly stated that it's the components, however, due to the age of the related components, the system won't be under warranty. So that's option number three. Now, when I've rolled this out to other companies, they like to flip it upside down. And I'm fine with that because it's working for the other companies. Two companies in particular, Brother Bob Hamilton, exceptionally well, and then we all know John Conway, one of our coaches now. His business rolled this out very successfully. And it covers you. There is no callbacks now. Now, yes, I created this process to eliminate the callbacks. But the amazing thing that happened here was the thing that I didn't see happening, is that now that the customer is burdened with the liability in their mind and they can't push back to us, they now have to make the financial decision on what they really want to do. Do they want to stick more money into this old system? Or do they want to talk to a comfort consultant? And it started driving in leads, is what this process did. It started knocking down leads. We turned over more leads when we started this process than I ever imagined, because I never even imagined I was going to turn over leads with this process. I always just wanted to fix the callback problem, and it fixed the callback problem. Okay? But the magic behind it is the lead generation on this. So understand that these leads that are being generated from these systems that are out, these systems are out. There's a problem with these systems. Okay? So that ties me back to the subjectivity of, should you offer, replace the system with a high efficiency piece of equipment. I pre-printed it because I pre-printed these three options. I ended up pre-printing it after about 3 weeks worth of going through this with my techs, because as I looked at these options with my technicians, I got 30 verses of King James Bible coming back at me. They were all saying it a different way. Well, that wasn't the message that I wanted to get across. And everybody that had their own little tweak destroyed the message by not covering our backsides, first of all, was the main thing, and not offering all of the options to the customer. This is all of your options. One of the options is to replace the system. Not saying it's their best option, it's always their choice. Okay? Now, I pre-printed it, and I pre-printed it option 1 with replace your system with high efficiency piece of equipment, saving money and utility bills. Bob and John flipped it upside down, and that was their third option. Doesn't matter to me, because number 2 option is the key here. That's the piece that covers your butt on the callbacks. So getting back to that first option or third option, doing it Bob and John's way, my technician's pushback would be, what if the system was brand new yesterday? I go, well, here's the thing, guys. I said, this is only for systems that are out. So if it was installed yesterday, is it under warranty by somebody? I mean, if we did it, it's under warranty for us, so this wouldn't be a process that you would plug in under our warranty situation for our installers. Okay? But however, if Mrs. Jones calls you a year down the road, and she's just sick and tired of dealing with this system that she bought from somebody else, and it's a 1-year-old system, the process is still written in there for you. Now, I will give you this. Here's where your subjectivity that I will lend to my technicians. I say, guys, here's the deal. If the equipment is the top of the line, is what we're putting in anyway, offer options. Say, Ms. Jones, we can replace this system with high efficiency piece of equipment, save your money and utility bills. However, this system's only a year old, so it may not be your best option, and just put an X on it. Okay? So we do give that leeway to our techs. I gave that leeway to my techs to be able to cross that off. But I wrote it down there. I had it pre-printed because I wanted it set every time. If I allow them to put it in only when they think it should go in, it's not going to go in every time, because they're creatures of habit. Okay? And they're going to do what's easiest. And remember, this is a process, a business process. So I came through with this. I wanted to put this out there because there's been a lot of confusion about what the intent was for this and why we put these 3 options in here. Now, does that mean you can't offer cleanings or anything like that? No, because these are primary. Up here on the screen, this is a primary option, right? Now, there's secondary options. IAQ, is a secondary option. If the thing is dirty too, But let's take care of the customers. The reason we're out there, it's out there for an out reason. Let's take care of that problem first, okay? Let's make sure that they know we're going to take care of that problem. That doesn't mean we can't also offer other options for them, like cleaning. Okay, Mr. Jones, I need to take care of that. We'll repair this for you. And you mentioned, because you didn't explore, you found out, the customer mentioned she has dirt, and you found out by wiping your baby wipe in there that you found dirt, and you showed it to the customer, so you did an observation you observed this with the customer, and you found something out because the customer says it was all dirty, it was words they said, those are our findings. The observations are the physical things that we point out. So, all of that is part of it. Yes, you can offer all of that, but let's take care of the initial problem first. Let's get a win, let's get a win under our belt. Then we can always do the IEQ, or we can sell service agreements. Those are all pieces that we can do. But I don't want to muddy the water up here with our option approach, because I want to make sure that system is intact and that we're covering our butt on callbacks, okay? And it's also generating a ton of leads. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it like that. My intention was to communicate my entire thought on this process and why it was created, and I hope everybody has a much better understanding. Thank you.